Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of your free Twitter marketing course, Pre-Launch Preparation for Your Twitter Campaign. Now, there are a few things that need to be done prior to launching your Twitter campaign, otherwise you could hit some speed bumps very early on. Remember, it always pays to prepare. In Course 2, we looked at defining the target audiences, we looked at keyword analysis, data mining, and other knowledge discovery. Now, what do we do with all that data after we acquire it? This is probably the step that takes the most time and creativity to complete, but it has to be set up initially and it'll certainly pay off in the end. Now, you'll want to keep all of these resources easily accessible because you're going to be accessing and reaccessing this data pretty frequently while planning your strategy, and as you transfer the data and content into the programs of your choice, which we'll get into a little bit later. Probably the easiest and most convenient way to keep track of all this is by using a spreadsheet such as Microsoft Excel, OpenOffice Calc, or Google Docs if you have a web domain and you sign up for their access. Google Docs is a great resource if you plan to have multiple people collaborating on that spreadsheet. Let's say you have several people that'll be working on putting all this data together. Everyone can collaborate on the spreadsheet in Google Docs and it'll update in real time. So there's no confusion as to who's working on what or any concern that someone's work is going to be unknowingly overwritten, which I'm sure has happened to pretty much everyone at this point. Content generation for your tweets and your thank you messages is essential, especially if multiple people are going to be contributing. Rather than manually inputting a thanks for following message each and every time someone follows you, you can have a pool of varied thank yous that's already been pre-written. Now, on the surface, this may sound a little impersonal, but in all actuality, it's really not. Think of it as pre-thanking your future followers. Not only will this save a lot of time, but it also pretty much guarantees that their follow request won't go unanswered because it got buried in your inbox. It also allows you to think out more responses in advance to add variety to your messages. You'd be surprised at how many different ways you can say, "Thanks for following." And it also affords you more opportunities to get an additional marketing message and link to your website or your Twitter profile out there without having to scramble on the fly. If you have a marketing message you want to get out there, it's a good practice to have a pool of these readily available as well. Now, there are programs available that will propagate most of the sentence structure for you. All you have to do is plug in a few variables and let it do the rest. This is key for pre-written marketing tweets. That is, unless, of course, you want to hand type everything, which is not only time consuming, but you're likely to notice fewer and fewer of your marketing tweets being entered over time, just due to the time and effort involved to do it, as it comes on. We'll look more closely at this phenomenon in the next video. Now, another form of content generation comes in the form of RSS feeds. RSS feeds can be strategically infused into your Twitter campaign to keep the buzz going and the content fresh. Whether you have RSS tied into your website, blog, or if you just want to keep a good related topic you got from a reputable source floating around the community, RSS feeds can help your campaign. Simply add the URL of the feed to your pool of tweets. For organization and convenience, I'd recommend keeping your RSS feeds in a separate tab in your spreadsheet document. Well, that about wraps it up for Course 3. Join us again for our next installment, Software Programs to Use. Thanks for listening.